What is up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. All right, let's go to Churchill Downs for race 9 on Saturday, May 31st. It is the Arlington Stakes, a grade 3 event here going a mile and 16th on the turf, a purse of $275,000. All right, I'll put it up on the screen now. Field of 9, and we'll go through them one by one. Try to give you a winner here as we go up and down this card. All right, let's go to the number 1 event detail to get things started. A horse that last time out ran in an allowance race right here at Churchill Downs. Got second, beaten 2.5 that day. 2 races back, 1 on the synthetic at Turfway Park. Kind of a horse that has kind of been everywhere. He does have a win on the dirt. He's got a win on the synthetic. He doesn't have a win on the turf, but his 2 turf races weren't too bad. But not for me here in this one. One I've thrown out in a race that's tough to throw a lot of them out, but event detail, not for me in this spot. The number 2 Cameo Performance is where we'll go next. And this is a horse that is coming off the 3rd race off of the layoff here. 2 races back, ran at Fairgrounds in the Muniz Memorial, and that was a race that was just a freaking mess. If you remember, an incredible long shot wins the race at 86-1. Spirit of St. Louis, who won the Pegasus World Cup Turf, was 4th that day. He came back to win the big turf race on Kentucky Derby Day. So it kind of shows you, like, hey, you know, if you ran like poorly in that race, don't worry about it too much. It was just a weird race altogether. But anyway, this horse got 3rd there, not too bad. And then I was talking about the race on Kentucky Derby Day, the Old Forester Bourbon Turf Classic. Cameo Performance was 8th, but only beaten 3 lengths. They kind of finished in a kind of a pack, really, as 9-10 horses separated there by just a few lengths. So 2 good efforts here off the bench. 3rd start off the layoff. I think we might see the best yet from this horse. I think he's in with a shot. Number 3 is Gigante. This is a horse that, again, was in the Muniz Memorial, if I could speak correctly, at Fairgrounds 2 races back, and was 2nd, only beating the neck. Came out of that race and then went to the Old Forester Bourbon Turf Classic next time out and was 9th, beaten 4 1/4. Gigante is a horse that when he moves up in class, he's had trouble in the past, but he's been able to win kind of the ungraded stakes races along the way. But graded turf stakes kind of been his problem. I don't really see it changing here. I think anytime he enters, he's kind of in with a shot, but I think he's more of a board hitter than actually going up and winning the race. The number 4 is Hershey. This is a horse that also started off of a layoff last time out at Keeneland on April 24th in an allowance race and looked sharp. A 3-length winner there. That was his first race as a 4-year-old, and I thought he looked very good. Looked like an improved horse for sure. Last year they tried him in a couple of graded stakes races. He got 6th in the Commonwealth. He got 3rd in the Bryan Station Stakes there at Keeneland. They tried him at Kentucky Downs in a $1.5 million race. He was 2nd, beating a length there. So they've tried him in races, and it didn't quite work out. Trying him in stakes races last year. So they're going to try it again now. And, I think he does look like an improved horse. So we'll see what he can do in this spot. I think he makes sense based off of the race last time out. But now the big test, can he step up in class and get the job done? The number 5 is Lagonos, and this is a horse that, he's pretty darn consistent. 4 races back right here at Churchill Downs. He won the Commonwealth Turf with Flavian Pratt aboard that day by 3/4 of a length. Had a couple of off the turf races that they kept the horse in. He did win one at Fairgrounds. And then 2 races back at Keeneland, they kept him in. He was 3rd, beaten 4 1/4. Then last time I got him back in the opening verse stakes. That was on Thurby there on Churchill Downs, Kentucky Derby weekend. Flavian Pratt was aboard there, and he ran well. He got 2nd, beaten a 1/2 length to Brilliant Birdie. Brilliant Birdie's also in this field. We'll talk about that one here in a second. But Lagonos, like I said, he's always kind of here with a shot. He's been defeated by Brilliant Birdie a few times. I think that's kind of the downside of it. But it's nice that Flavian stays aboard here. And look, I think he's in with a little bit of a shot, kind of like you still Gigante. I think hitting the board may be the ceiling for him, but a classy horse nonetheless. The number 6 is Call Protection. Call Protection coming off back-to-back wins. 1 at Turfway Park, 2 races back in an allowance race going a mile. Last time out, stretches out to a mile and an 8th at Churchill Downs over the turf. And another very easy win. And he beat Event Detail, a horse that kind of said, we don't like him very much here. So, I think Call Protection, I do like him a bit, but, I don't know what he beat in that allowance race. He did get defeated 3 races back by Merkante, a horse that we'll talk about here in a second. He's also been defeated in his career by Brilliant Birdie as well. So again, I think he's showing up in good form, obviously, but he's going to have to step up just a little bit. He's going to have to improve just a little bit to win a race of this magnitude. Let's keep going to the number 7, Silent Heart, a horse that 3 races back won an allowance going 1 mile at Gulfstream Park. Tried the Canadian next, got third, beaten a neck in that spot, but was beaten by Fort Washington, who came back to win on the dinner party on Preakness Day, and Major Dude, a horse that's pretty darn good. So, was even money favorite there. I think that's kind of the disappointing thing. You kind of hoped he would be able to win, but look, only beating a neck, he ran okay. And then, last time out, tried the Maker's Mark going 1 mile on the turf there at Keeneland, and Carl Spackler, Integration, Tricari, really tough horses there. Got 7th, beaten 12 3/4. Just never really had much of a chance. Kind of was racing in between horses. We're kind of pressing the pace. Not the greatest of trips there, and really kind of the circumstance of it. You kind of got to go a little bit quicker going a mile than you do a mile on a 16th, especially at that grade 1 level. So I don't hold that much against him. I think he's in with a better shot here for sure. Let's keep going to the number 7, Merkante. We talked about this horse just a minute ago. Look, nearly won the Old Forester, a Bourbon Turf Classic last time out. Got beat 3/4 of a length. Finished second to Spirit of St. Louis, a horse that I would definitely be singling if Spirit of St. Louis is in here. So it's hard for me not to like Merkante quite a bit based on that. Horse also won 2 races at Turfway Park over the synthetic over the winter there in March and February. One was a grade 3 event on Jeff Ruby Stakes Day, so it was a pretty good card there. Beat Encino, a horse I kind of like. Beat Hush of a Storm as well, a horse I like there at Turfway. Look, I think kind of before this run of 3 races, I certainly wouldn't call Merkante a bad horse, but I would not be looking to bet him in a race of this caliber. But the last 3 races have really stood out. I mean, this horse has just gotten better and better with these 3 starts, and he's on quite a run. 2 great races in a row. I think all systems are go once again for another big effort here from him. And then finally, we talked about this one a while when we were previewing other horses, the number 9 Brilliant Birdie, and we've talked about him a lot because he beat a lot of the horses that are in this race today. Brilliant Birdie, last time out did win the opening verse there at Churchill Downs by half length over Lagonos, so we talked about. He was also in the Muniz Memorial there at Fairgrounds, that oddly ran race. He was 8th, beaten 4. And again, I don't really take much stock in that race as far as who won or where they finished. They were kind of running well coming out of it, but that was just a weirdly ran race. And then we talked about, winning the Bryan Station at Keeneland, and then winning that the Global Tote Gun Runner Stakes, $1.5 million race at Kentucky Downs as well. So this horse is, he's been very, very good as a 3-year-old as well with a big stakes win. So this is a nice horse. I think, he's another one that's going to be tough. And I really, when you look at this and you really start to look, that 7, 8, and 9, they all look pretty good there to the outside. The 7, the 8, and the 9 all look like horses that can really run. So when I kind of look at, let's say 1 through 6, I kind of think, you know what? I'm not sure. I think those might be board hitters. And I look at the 7, the 8, and the 9. I think the winner is going to come out of one of those. So with that being said, we'll kind of make the decision now. And it was a tough decision to make. I debated this one for a while, but I am going to go number 9, Brilliant Birdie, as a top pick here. And with the number 8, Merkante in second. I just kind of, with Merkante, I just kind of feel like, okay, we're on a nice run here, but who are we really? Are we that horse that we've seen in the last couple of races? Will he regress a little bit after 2 huge races? That's my worry. Where Brilliant Birdie kind of has a long string of races that are darn good, right? And I thought, like I said, the race 2 back really looks solid. I think stretching out now to mile 16th will be just fine for this horse. So, yeah, Brilliant Birdie for me. That's who I'm going to put on top. And we'll see if he can get the job done. So I'll go number 9, Brilliant Birdie, to win the Arlington Stakes at Churchill Downs. All right, guys, that'll do it for this preview. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Churchill Downs on Saturday.